Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking smack at it. Bye-ya. Bye-ya. Bye. Orale, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there. Orale, Chito, Ranas, right? We're going to be talking about today the upstate Southsider movement, right? It's been around, it's been around, homes. Well established, flags planted, vato locos everywhere, forever, homes. Yep, la primera lives. But in the menudo style and direct fashion, who's the face of the movement? You know, who's the face of the establishment now? It's been going on for years, man. The invasion was real. You know, up north, we called it the invasion. Before we knew it, we looked around. ¿Sabes qué? There were Southsiders everywhere. Pura. They were just fucking in every town. Santa Cruz, Atwater, San Jose, San Fran, Richmond, Vallejo, fucking Richmond and Dago. Mob and Sawyer's homes with hitters on the payroll, right? Vatos were just everywhere. But nowadays, it's changed. It's gradually changed, just like everything does. Time demands change, you know? And the new face that I consider the face of the movement happens to be a vato out of Howe Park, the north side of Sacramento, named Chito Ranas. You know, this guy's getting a lot of clout, a lot of fame, right? He's a local rapper out of the Sacramento area, a very hated individual in the Sacramento area, right? We all know just recently one of his good camaradas, his good homeboys, his good friends, who he considered a brother, Jalisco, was gunned down in the city of San Jose, you know, caught slipping over an internet beef, and got caught slipping, you know, and that's just how it is. You know, it happens frequently, man. We all know how it happened just the other day with Savage Studios. You know, it just happens. But, you know, this guy Chito Ranas has started to become the face of the movement. Now, in every movement, man, there's always that one individual or couple individuals that stand out. Okay, and I'm not just talking about gangs. It could be in a rap group, Kid and Play. Everybody knew Kid was the one, right? Play was just there. Play might have rapped better, but Kid had the hair and shit, right? You know, you get NWA. Back in the days, it was Easy. You know, then it became Dre. But everybody knew that was Easy's group. You know, in every group, in every fucking band, in everything, there's always going to be that guy who stands out, who becomes the leader. You know, who gets thrown into the fire. Even in this Cali Mac organization business, we all know that Gil stands on the forefront. He got thrown into the fire as leadership. And Chito Ranas, being an upstater, you know, being a Southsider from upstate, he has kind of grabbed that role and ran with it. Now, at this point in time, he's incarcerated. You know, I don't know the charges he's incarcerated for, but I know he's going to be coming home soon. His name kind of blew up on the circuit out there, blew up in social media. You know, I think the first time that I came across his music, one of the little homeboys was like, he was from Sakura. He was like, hey, trip out. He looked around like the menudo. Trip out, Holmes. Have you heard of Chito Ranas? And I said, nah, who the fuck is that? There's a homeboy named Chito Ranas, right? He said, Charlie, Holmes. He's a Southsider, but his shit slaps. He's different, right? So we slapped it in, Holmes, the CD. We slapped it in and right? He was a little different. He was a little bit different in his delivery and a little bit different in his flow. To be totally honest with you, I thought he was a northern rapper, right? Which he is. He's a Northern California rapper that only claims Sul, right? He's a Southsider, upstater. Now, I come from an old school era, the 90s. You know, I come from an era of real gangbanging. I come from an era of motherfuckers was trying to get each other's fucking heads, right? Period. Now, the North and South was very, very vicious in the 90s. Okay, I was incarcerated. When I got out, shit didn't stop. It still was going down. Now, as far as down south, homes, was a whole different story. That was what I considered gangbanging between barrios, blue on blue, and whatever they had going on down there, barrio on barrio. Up north, it was more so north versus south because the establishment of the upstaters was real. And we started to hear the word upstate a lot. Okay, I'm an upstater. So what does that mean? Okay, that thing, you know what I mean? You see, that's 45, allegedly, right? And that's just how it went. Say it with your chest on power, right? Fools were out there really gangbanging. Now, this guy Chito Ranas is from a barrio called Howe Park. Now, if you ask norteños out of Sakura, they're going to say, Charlie, Holmes, them vatos pose no threat. The Vatos ain't doing nada, I see, right? If you ask the Vatos from How Park, they're going to say, we're here, homes. We've been established. We've been doing our thing. Can't you stop it? Can't you stop the music? And you can't, is what they're saying, right? But that's part of life. That's part of he said, she said, that she said, he said. That's gangbanging. You know, Vatos are always going to think they're primera. They're going to think they're number one. They're always going to represent their barrios, homes. Like I said, you could ask two different guys the same thing. Hey, how was that chocolate ice cream? It tasted like shit, right? The other guy, it was bomb. Can I get an extra scoop? I'll take this shit if you don't want it, right? There's always going to be a matter of different opinions. And that's how it is when you consider the upstaters, you know. People got love for their city. You know, if you ask people from Merced, even myself, hey, is there Southsiders there? Charlie Holmes, there ain't no Southsiders. But in real life, there is. You know, there is. They might not be out there wiggling quite like that, but there is. You know, there's been. And if you ask Vatos from Sacra, Stockton, Modesto, anywhere, it's going to be the same old thing. You know, Charlie Holmes, because people have pride. They want to act like, you know, Charlie Holmes, we're letting the Vatos establish here. Con permiso en la tira. It's been happened, right? It's happened since the late 80s, Vato. You know what I mean? Early 90s. Spencer. Now, the upstater movement, you know, was established by a few individuals that were oppressed. Most gangs and groups have started out of oppression. Okay, most gangs and groups have started out of a banding together and a coming together to protect each other. Okay, now there's always been a lot of paisas in Northern California. You know, farmlands. People picking the camote, the tomates, the cebolla, whatever the case may be. There was always what we considered a lot of labor camps, road camps. These were places where the paisas set up shop, man, because they'd work from city to city, town to town, picking. You know, I had familia that did this. Sabes que I did it. You know, I had tomato juice all over me and shit. I get home, besides I got that cheque on Friday, and I was at the bailar. Right there with the paisas. Vivo de tres animales. Oh, show. I was chilling, homes. I got that fat ass check. You know, I mean, I was making $12.50 an hour. I was doing big things. That's it back then. Anyways, there always been a lot of paisas in Northern California. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. There was a little bit of a beef between norteños back in them days and paisas, because norteños always considered paisas being from down south, LA, Mexico, crossing over, and then coming with that sureño or Southsider stilo, right? So there was a little friction there. You could feel it in the air because the wind was blowing, right? And what happened was these paisas and Southsiders that gradually moved from down south up north banded together and formulated what are considered now the upstate Southsider movement, or what is considered the movement, right? People like Vatos from How Park, you know, of course you got, you know, Chito, Ranas. And if you look at his music, you can see he leans more towards the Mexicano flavor rather than the Chicano flavor. Okay? Him, it's a little different. He's a crossover. We've never seen anything like it, right? His stilo and the mix that he brings to the table. I mean, I've never seen a paisa say the N-word that much, but he does, right? But he's crossed over. Okay, the reason I think, and this is my personal perspective on the situation, that he's the face of the upstater Southside movement, and I don't mean he's that one putting in the work, handling the business, that motherfucker, the leadership qualities he instills, right? No, I understand that not to be the case, but I'm saying the face of. Sometimes the Vato that's the biggest poop butt on the block, man, can be the face of. People consider him, when they see him, they say, okay, that's that one. You know what I mean? But he can't fight worse shit. Don't matter. He's still that one. That's what I'm saying, right? And that's how it could be with this guy. You know, it's because his name's out there. It's because of his music. It's because of what he always represents and he displays, the colors he wears, just the whole attitude, man, has started to become, you know, prevalent in the upstate or Southside world. Now, I know a lot of Vatos that have established out of the city of San Jose. Vatos that have established out of Merced. Vatos that have established out of Santa Cruz. Fucking shit, Santa Cruz they established, right? And there's some vicious characters, man. You know, there's hitters from everywhere. Spencer la tira. It's just the way it is. You know, I know that being a norteño in the past, I could sit here and I could tell you, Charlie Holmes, them Vatos weren't about shit. They didn't handle their business. And I'd be a liar and a fucking fat mouth, right? I'd be bullshitting some bullshitters. I'd be sitting here displaying nothing but lying skills, because that's not a fact, man. That's not a fact, you know. You win some in the game and you lose some in the game, you know. And then you lose some real ones in the game, right? And that's just how it is. Okay, anyone who would procrastinate and sit here and bullshit you, they're crazy. Anyways, now, Chito Ranas. This guy came out of nowhere to me. And I remember listening to his music the first time and saying, okay, he goes, but he was a little different because I never heard anyone talk about Mexicano stilo in a way that he did, yet incorporate a lot of urban flavor into it. He was fool, right? He put a lot of, what can I say? It sounded like a Bay Area mixed with a Michoacan styles. That's good. They throw them in a pot of fucking, what do you got? You got fucking jambalaya and menudo combined, right? It was just a little different. It was really black and brown unity, but his music was good. I appreciated it. I appreciated the sound. I appreciated the narrative. Okay, I didn't know he was a Southsider at the time, nor did I care, nor do I care now. What I do care about is respect, okay? Respect given from people. I think the next time that he popped up was on YouTube. I seen a video of him on YouTube. He was in a courthouse or probation. I don't know what it was. And there was a young active norteño that ran up on him. And of course, there was words exchanged on one, well, not even exchanged, just on one side. And they caught him lacking. You caught him lacking. Of course, was that the place and the time to run up on him? Charlie, But at the same time, Vato did and put it out there, for the world to see on YouTube. So there was a lot of people minimizing his efforts and minimizing him, saying, oh, he's a sucker. Look, he went out. You know what I mean? But literally, he got caught lacking in the courthouse. He couldn't say much. You know what I mean? He just had to post up right there like, okay, con un bitchy fur jacket. Like, all right, babe, right, okay, right? That's just all he had to do because that's all he can do. You do what you can. But anybody from the Sacramento area that knows Hal Park, they know that they've been there for a long time, man. People could say what they want to say, but that area right there is pretty much sown. It's that park by them, by the Upstate Southside movement. That's a fact. Okay. Now, anyone who sleeps on this movement or anyone who thinks that they're not established and they're not putting in work, man, you got to be a damn fool. We're going to call you Julio because it rhymes with Fulio, right? Because that's furthest from the truth, homies. Right? They've been around the block. Shit, I watched the establishment right before my eyes. I remember the first time I ever seen an Upstate Southsider, other than my primos, in the family that I know out of A-Town, Atwater, when I was a young kid, and I didn't really realize or understand too much of what was going on there. But when I was incarcerated in the California Youth Authority and I was sitting there on Madison, which was a compa, which was a dangerous compa, you know what I mean? So you had to keep your head on motherfucking swivelization, because if not, you had to, and it was going down, right? See me in the town, and so it was going down, right? So you had to be on swivel. And I remember a Vato coming out of one of the cells, because they had the dorm, and then there was cells on the one side. He was a big-ass Vato, and the Vato had saw hole on his stomach with a shark. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, that's a homie? I didn't even know that we had another homie right there. Big-ass one, tissues, that's gay, we're good, right? No. He turned around, there was a sword this big on his back. I said, what part of the game is that? I told my homeboy, he was like, that's the part of the game we don't talk about that much, right? Okay, that's when I knew the shit got real. That's when I knew, okay, these Vatos are here to stay. They're establishing for reals, right? And I respected it. I respected it, man, because, you have no choice but to respect it. If you're going to respect other gangs, man, you're going to respect other people, homes, then sabes que, stick a fork in your feelings. That's just what it is. So Chito Ranas has now become the face of this movement. Okay? When I think him, I don't think music anymore. I think someone who's on the internet talking about, if you got my brother's name in your mouth, if you're this, if you're that, Hal Park, Sue, this, and that. This is what I think now. His gang lifestyle and the shit that he portrays has overtaken his musical skills. Now, this is a very well-known individual in the music game. He's put in the necessary work and the effort to come up, to make a name for himself in hip-hop. I understand that just quite recently you had people like Gold Toes Julio out of San Fran sign Little Grifo out of San Diego. I spoke on it on my other channel, right? And I understand that, that's breaking down a lot of barriers, a lot of walls that have been up for a long time. The whole unity movement, man, is getting bigger and bigger every day. Sasuke, we gonna turn it on them, right? And I appreciate it and love the fuck out of it, right? I know some people don't appreciate it or don't like it. It ain't for them. Respects to their call, homes. You know what I mean? I ain't hating on them. No disrespect whatsoever at all. No poison intended. You know, we're just trying to get this shit together, homies, to make a better way for everybody, for every brown person. But this vato like Chito Ranas, where does he stand in this situation? He's in a caja. He's in a box. You know, it's different. Upstaters compared to down south Southsiders. Let me explain the differences. And how we always considered them different. The vatos from down south are from the sur, Rams. They're from the south. Okay? They're together. They're united in how they rock, right? There might be different barrios. They might beef amongst each other, but I promise you this, they'll burn this bitch down, get a piss. Say with your chest. To live and die in LA, right? They're doing what they does and what they've always been doing. Their barrios have been around a long, long time, man. The stilos been, you know what I mean, there. So we've always known, hey, the vatos from down south, that's the sur, that's, you know what I mean? You cross Bakerfield, anything could happen. You know what I mean? You better watch out. You know what I mean? I'm going to Dindyland, though, Holmes. I don't get Knoxberry Farm. Well, go to Knoxberry Farm so they knock your ass out right there, Holmes. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, and then they're going to fucking get you because you're a famero. You know what I mean? Now, Charlie, Holmes, we ain't going out like that. And for the most part, no one's fucking with each other. Like I said, the vatos from down south are too focused on barrio warfare. No one even knows what a norteño is or was tripping back then. You know, nowadays it's a little bit more mainstream. So vatos know, but vatos don't trip like that. You get a lot of respect from vatos down south. And it's likewise, right? I've always known that. The vatos upstate, it's a different story. A lot of these vatos have grown up in guerra, grown up at war with norteños, man. It's a constant thing. It's daily, you know? So, I mean, what do you expect? Because I know I've met a lot of Southsiders and I've sat down with them, you know, from down south, real ones. And they were like, hey, Holmes, you know, what's your guys' beef? I said, why are you guys always tripping? You know, we don't even know you out there like that. And it's like not necessarily tripping on you vatos down south, but tripping on the vatos up, up north that claim the sur, you know what I mean? I never understood how they could do that, Holmes. But then I started to understand as I got older and wiser and my fucking beard got grayer, right? Okay, vatos established in hoods, right? Now, people say, well, that was on you norteños for losing ground. And it was. It was. But at the same time, man, it wasn't about losing ground, man. It was about fucking not paying attention to what was going on around you, homes, and oppressing people, man. The oppressed becoming the oppressor. You know, it happens in gang life, man. You get a little too big for your britches. You think you're something, man, what are you thinking? You know, you say, and next thing you know, vatos are like, fuck that, you're not taking my shoes, right? And bam, they come together. Next thing you know, Beavis, Butthead, and the whole little crew done formed a gang on you, and now they're deeper than you are, and they're beating the shit out of you, taking your shoes. And that's just how it is, you know. But Chito Ranas, definitely to me. And you can leave your fucking, your DM right there. You can leave your message. You can leave your thoughts on the situation. Do you think he's the face? I know there's a lot of other people out there that are probably way more hardcore than him, really into the scene, really into gangbanging. That's their thing. Fuck music. They don't give a fuck about none of that, right? But I think when I think upstate Southside movement, man, he comes to mind. You know, I think he's one of the ones that is really out there doing it. I think there's no denying the fact that he's pushing that movement. He's rocking that narrative. Even especially now, you know, this guy's incarcerated. He's going to get out. And I'm sure he's going to feel some type of way about his homeboy, you know. I'm not sitting here and telling you that he's going to fucking handle business and do this and do that. Because, you know, Sasuke, that's his business. You know, that's his business. But I'm sure he's feeling a certain way. I myself did not do a video on Jalisco just based on, out of respect, for what he asked. You know, he asked as a person, hey, can some people that don't know him not speak on his name? So I did it. You know what I mean? I don't know why I did it. Sasuke, usually I don't. But I just felt a twinge of respect, that I hadn't felt in a minute. And I did do that. But, I'm here to tell you, that this guy, obviously, has some leadership quality skills if people were listening. I myself did it out of a respect, did it out of a, you know what? I fucks with this guy's music. So I'm gonna respect this one time. Once, that's it. Don't fuck with me, right? And that's it. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to say, as far as the city of Sacramento goes, man, a very, very vicious city, you know what I mean? Very heavily northern affiliated, representing. The representamos of the Norte is real in Sacramento. Do I think that this fucking, the Hal Park water poses a big giant threat in Sacra? Absolutely not. But they have been around, man, and there's no denying that's a fact. And Chito Ranas is in definitely some type of leadership role there, you know what I mean? Allegedly. As far as being the face and criminal activity, chale, I don't know, but I'm saying as far as the face of them, yeah, you know what I mean? You can consider them that, you know, of the whole upstate Southsider movement, because it is a movement, man. You know, it is a movement. You know, it's something that's gradually, they're getting deeper and deeper daily. And people that are not paying attention, homes, they're coming to a fucking barrio near you. Right? And that's just what it is. Anyways, with that being said, man, I mean, that's neither here nor there. That's just wanted to put that out there. You know, stay aware, man. You know, have a great, productive day. Pay attention to those around you. Pay attention to the frivolous thoughts that are going through people's minds because they could affect your daily. You know what I mean? And you don't want that to go down. Then the wiggle has to get real. You got to clap back. You know what I mean? 380 reasons to allegedly do what you do. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about going out there and struggling and striving for your family. Going out there and hustling for your own people, man. If you ain't going to do it, no one's going to do it for you. If you like this video right here, please hit that like and subscribe with a thumbs up. That fucking helps me a lot. If not, you can hit that thumbs down. Here is the head that wears the crown. I heard there's a clown that likes to go down, man. You know what it is. You know what I mean? Gun's going to continue to gang, gang. You know what I mean? Do what I do and bang, bang. For the people, because at the end of the day, man, we are all we have. Gente, we are all we have. The gun.